It's really interesting to see, especially with the just large amount of money that gets bet on this one single game. And with that, let's just jump right into the NFL and talk about Super Bowl 55, Brett. There are 578 lines in Oregon. I'm not going to do you the burden of listening to us go through every single one of them. We picked out the generic spread money line, spread and over under, and then we got some props for you. But Brett, the main odds for the spread, money line, and over under, they really have not changed for much of this since the early lines came out. It's stayed Kansas City -3. The VIG's changed a little bit. Money line's gone up and down a little bit. Over under, I mean, it's at 55.5 now. It started at 56.5, excuse me. So this line stayed pretty consistent, but as more money pours in as we get closer to game time, do you think that these are going to rise even to maybe Kansas City -3.5, or do you think it's going to stay at where it's been?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Higgins. I see what our numbers are on the graphic here, but in New Jersey, where I am, Higgins, the numbers are actually the same as our last episode. So it really hasn't moved. And to be honest with you, it only moved 2 total cents from the episode before that. So, I mean, you want to talk about minimal movement, but that makes sense, right? Like, we have the most data, we have a whole week off in between to analyze these teams and get this line down. So, we know what we're doing. The books know what they're doing. There's no real huge surprises, although I guess the COVID stuff is a little bit of a surprise. We spoke about it a little bit in our last episode, but Demarcus Robinson, the backup center Kilgore, went on the COVID list. It was because of a barber that actually entered the Chiefs facility, and they got him out of there as soon as they got the test results. Kilgore actually finished the haircut. He had a great tweet with
His
the
tweet was
half-shaved
fantastic.
head.
The tweet by Kilgore was fantastic. He was a great sport with it. Apparently, the barber got tested before entering the facility, but they did not wait to start the haircuts until they did not wait until after he got the results to give him for him to start giving haircuts, because he had 20 people on his roster to give haircuts to that day, including Patrick Mahomes, who did not end up getting a haircut. But Brett, these COVID concerns, I mean, we haven't had any positive tests show up yet stemming from something like that. But that's making me stay off this spread until Sunday, I think. I'm going to post on our social media where I'm going to be. I'm leaning Kansas City -3, but with that uncertainty of a barber just entering the facility recently and potentially exposing some players, I need to wait until day of. So I'm leaning Kansas City -3, but I can't pull that trigger yet.
So I'm gonna be honest, Higgins. It is Wednesday night when we are recording this. It'll be Thursday morning when hopefully most people are listening to this. That will be 3 days removed from the person entering the facility. Well, really 4 days since the contact, or 3 days since the contact, 4 days since the event occurred. I guess whatever you want to say. So, like, the fact that there's been no tests to pop up that have been positive since the two players have been put into quarantine and they haven't tested positive yet either. We know they were wearing masks during this. So, like, I have some faith that this may be contained, and I'm not very concerned. And even if I was concerned, Higgins, I guess I'm on the right side because I'm taking the points here. I'm just taking Tampa Bay, but I'm really taking the number. I'm taking the +3 because anything can happen in an individual game, Higgins, and I get a little bit of insurance plus the greatest quarterback of all time. So, not the worst bet in the world to make. I also get it at -102 here in New Jersey, Higgins. So, honestly, getting Tom Brady with points at -102, like, that's honestly just a combo too good to pass. I know Patrick Mahomes is on the other side. Not really loving betting against that man, but I just listed it. Tom Brady +3 -102. It's kind of a combo that's too good to pass up.
Yeah, all your reasoning there makes sense. I wouldn't say that I'm concerned with the coronavirus. I just think that there's enough of a risk for me to not place the bet now. And since we've seen the line literally not move in the past 10 days, I don't see there being really a risk in me waiting and having that line potentially change. I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic that, like you said, they've been quarantined. There's been no positive tests yet. Hopefully, none pop up, and we have both teams at full strength or as close as they can be, really. But I'm leaning Kansas City -3. I do really think this line is pretty accurate to how the game's going to go. I think it's going to be a very, very close game, and part of that leads into one or two of my props, actually, Brett. One of my props is I think that there's a high potential this game gets tied after 0-0. Meaning, especially early in the game, if Patrick Mahomes, for example, marches right down and scores a touchdown, who's to say Tom Brady doesn't just go do that right back and it's tied 7-7?
Well, you could even bet that, Higgins. Both teams to score on their first drive. You could bet anything in this game, Higgins, if you really want to. You could find a way to bet it. I promise that.
If you can't find the line, maybe call up your sports book and they might come up with a line for you because it's the Super Bowl. Like I said, 578 lines in Oregon by now. Would not be surprised to see that hit over 600 by the weekend potentially as some more miscellaneous props come out, Brett. But yeah, -135. I think the game's going to be tied, so I'm going to take that as a yes. I think the game's going to be tied after 0-0, but also with how close this game is, I wouldn't be surprised if there is an onside kick scenario. Potentially late in the game, but also, remember when Sean Payton shocked the world and kicked a onside kick coming out of halftime? Andy Reid, Bruce Arians, they might have fun enough to do something crazy or wacky and unconventional. I'm not saying that that's likely to happen, but you never know. Sean Payton showed that it's a possibility. So, +200 for the potential of an onside kick when this line is at 3 points, I think that's good value. So I'm making that more as a value pick than anything.
All right, all right. I mean, I have no. That feels like a shot in the dark, but +200, why not? I mean, fun thing to root for. I'm on one of those, Higgins. Maybe not a fun thing to root for, but there's a lot of famous missed kicks in the Super Bowl, Higgins.
Wide
Wide
right.
right comes to mind. Yeah, exactly. So
Every Bills fan just turned off this podcast, probably. By the
and
way,
you know what? You know what stadium that happened, or maybe not stadium. That's not the right term. You know what city that happened in?
No.
Tampa Bay.
Oh, how convenient.
No, what are the odds? So a missed field goal in this game is sitting at +125, Higgins. I just think there's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. Pressure.
I could see that. I could see that.
So, kind of like you, I think like some fluky things might be able to happen here, and maybe a missed kick from Suck Up or Bucker in this game at +125. Sure, I'll roll the dice on that. I'm on your kicking bets, Higgins. I see you.
Okay. Brett, I do have one other prop bet, and this is honestly my favorite prop bet. If we went and looked at our Super Bowl episode last year, I guarantee you I took this same bet. I'm pretty sure I actually made it a pick of the pod last year as well. If you look at the history of the coin toss, Brett, it's not very 50-50 on who wins and who loses in terms of recent memory. Since 2000, the NFC team has won 17 times. The AFC has won 3. Yet, it is -105 either way. So I am going to take Tampa Bay to win the coin toss at -105 because 17 times the NFC has won the coin toss. But there is another side to this coin, if I may, I guess. But Tom Brady in the Super Bowl historically is not good at coin tosses. Like 2-7 bad at coin tosses, but I guess that makes sense considering the AFC has been so bad. He's been there 9 times with them. So really, 2 of the 3 times that they've won since 2000, Tom Brady won for the AFC. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe he does bring that karma into the NFC and gets the win for the Bucks on the coin toss, an early win for me. I like betting the coin toss just because it's early on in the game. It's before the game even starts, actually. So you get an early win or loss, kind of helps boost the morale a little bit. I like the early action.
What if you lose? Then it shits your morale.
Uh,
Like,
Not much, not too much.
not
It's just the coin
much.
toss.
Just the coin toss. Higgins, I think you're nuts, but God bless you. Okay. I have no take on the coin toss as it is just a event that no one has any control over, and I'm just rooting for Higgins. If Higgins is a winner, we all had fun. That's great. My last prop of the night is going to be Mike Evans over under 63 and a half receiving yards. And I'm going to take the under on that. Mike Evans has not been putting up 63 and a half yards very often. Higgins, I don't think he does it in the biggest game of the year. So give me the under on 63 and a half at minus 110.
Especially against a Steve Spagnuolo offense, and Spags is known for giving Tom Brady trouble and making him look at other options to pass to. Taking away his number one wide receiver is typically a favorite of Spags, who has a 3-2 winning record against Tom Brady in the playoffs, by the way, just so you know. They've played a lot against each other, even though Spags is a defensive coordinator. He was a head coach briefly, was a part of that Giants team that upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Just another little thing to be aware of. Brett, there's a ton of other wacky props, a lot more wacky than even that coin toss one that I'm on. I mean, you can bet on the color of the Gatorade, or as Oregon puts it, the color of the liquid poured on the winning coach. They do not say Gatorade.
We get Gatorade in New Jersey. We actually shove Gatorade down your throat in New Jersey. We flaunt how much we can say it.
Now, there is an interesting perspective of this bet, though. I mean, because of COVID times and everything, we've seen teams still. I mean, in bowl games, for example, we still saw teams celebrate wins by dumping the Gatorade onto their coaches. We saw some coaches evade the practice and not end up getting the liquid poured on them. So plus 275 for there to be no liquid poured on a winning coach. It's an interesting thought in this these coronavirus days, I think. Interesting thought.
I think there will be Gatorade poured on the coach. That's just my take. I have no inside info, but that's my feel.
I agree. I think there will be Gatorade poured on a coach too. I just find it an interesting perspective, wanting to bring it up. Also, both teams that are playing in this have red in their team colors. Does that have any impact on what color Gatorade they drink? I don't know.
You think it's that easy?
I don't think it's that easy. I
No,
don't think
I
it's
don't
that
think so.
easy.
I don't think it's that easy.
If it was that easy, it would be pretty easy to pocket a quick plus 500.
Right, like it wouldn't be it would be lower odds than that. No way it's that easy.
One final prop I wanted to talk on, Brett, before we get out of talking about the Super Bowl. In Oregon, you can bet on whether or not there will be an offensive or a defensive lineman to score a touchdown. Now, it doesn't say how they have to score a touchdown, whether it be a trick offensive play or a scoop and score, for example. But you can only bet yes on this. You can't bet no that it's not going to happen. And the odds are plus 1,000. Don't think the value's quite there for me, but I found that to be a very interesting line offered.
I think that is a fun bet, Higgins. Like that to me, that would be the most fun bet. Like just rooting for a fumble and inside the five every
Indomitius
drive.
Sue.
Oh man, that just seems like a lot of fun. So I don't know. If you have $5, don't throw more than $5 on that. But if you have $5 and you're in Oregon, you want to have some fun on Super Bowl Sunday, go offensive lineman. Let's get a touchdown. Let's get one of those trick plays where we get 72 in there. He lines up as the tight end. We run the play action. All of a sudden, 72 runs the little button hook, and he gets a little yeah, exactly. So
Everyone loves to see the lineman score.
I'm all in for it. I'm all in. I think that's a fun $5 max play, Higgins.
Well, I'm not on it now. I'll let you know, and I'll let everyone know on social media if I do find myself on that. But I agree that is like a $5 max. It's literally listed under novelty props, so that in itself says something about it.